ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्वे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर सदी गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 78, verse number 17. So in the previous verses, Sri Sukadeva Goswami described the fight between Krishna and Dantavakra and how Krishna killed him at the entrance of Mathura, and then also killing of his brother Viduratha. And then the commentator explained that Krishna went to Vraja, stayed there for 2 months, and then the Vraja pastimes were closed. They became aprakat. So now from this verse onwards he describes the second topic which was mentioned earlier, that there is also description of killing of Sut Goswami in this chapter. So that's the next thing he describes. Purushottam Prabhu, you have something?
One question. So when Krishna went after killing the Dantavakra, he was practically alone there, right? His wives and none of entourage and nobody was there with him basically.
No, alone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Srutva yuddhodhyamam Rama kurunam sah pandavaihi tirthabhisheka vyajena madhyastha prayayo kila. So he says that when Balram, he heard that the battle between Kauravas, and if he stays, then same problem will come which came to Krishna, that they will come for help from both sides and he will be in a difficult position. So therefore he thought that better I go away from here on the pretext of taking dip in holy places. So tirthabhishek vyajena madhyastha prayokala, and therefore he took permission from family members and said that I'm going on a tirthyatra, pilgrimage, and he left. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Viduratanta nasato hatva strinyasya samacharat harir balastu punarapi avadhit suta balvalau. So he says that after killing Viduratha, that is Dantavakra's brother, and other sadhus, then Krishna, he decided to give up all weapons, that no more fights. I had enough of it. But Balram still killed two more people, and that is Suta and in Rakshasa called Balvala. Srutva iti mama duryodhanasya priyo yudhishtiropi ubhyorapi nimantrane ayasyati kasya pakshe syam iti tirthasnana abhishena prayayo. So when he heard that this battle is going to happen between Kauravas and Pandavas, and he says that Duryodhana is dear to me and also Yudhishthira, so it will be difficult for me to decide, and both will come to me to invite to be part of this battle, and I don't want to be. So therefore he left, find a solution. Not just go away, avoid the situation. Sometimes it's better to not take sides or to avoid the whole situation and just be out of it. So that's what he did. Snatva prabhase santarpya devarshi pitrimanavan saraswati pratishrotam yayo brahmana samvritaha. So first he came to Prabhas Kshetra, which is near Dwarka, and he took bath there, made oblations to Devas, Pitris, forefathers, satisfied the people there, Brahmanas. And then he followed the path going upstream to Saraswati river towards its origin. And he was accompanied by Brahmanas. So Brahmana Sambrita. Pruthudakam Bindusara Tritakupam Sudarshanam Vishalam Brahma Tirtham Cha Chakram Prachim Saraswatim. He went to Pruthudak Kshetra where Pruthu Maharaj performed yajna. Vindusara is where Kardama was doing tapasya, and Vishnu appeared to him. Then Tritkupam is another kshetra where Tritarishi did some prayers. Sudarshanam is also kshetra. Vishalam, Brahmatirtha, Chakra, and Prachi Saraswati, where river Saraswati flows in the easterly direction. So he took darshan of all these holy places, took dip there. Saraswatim pratisrotam pratiloma srota swatim. So he went to Saraswati Kshetra. So he says that this is where Saraswati is flowing in the opposite direction, means comes from north to south, but some place it also goes to north side. So he went there. Yamuna manuyani eva Ganga manum cha bharata Jagamanamisham yatra Rishya satra masate. Then he went to Yamuna river and followed the flow of Yamuna and all the tirthas which are on the bank of Yamuna. He visited them. Similarly, he visited the various holy places on the bank of Ganga river. And after that he went to Naimisharanya, where the sages have assembled to do a big yajna. So this is described in the very beginning of Bhagavatam, Naimisharanyam Sakshetre Rishya Sonkadayas Satram Swargaya Lokaya Sahasra Samamasata. So they have assembled there to do a big satra for 1,000 years. That's what it says, Sahasram Samam, to attain Vaikuntha. So he arrived in that place.
Babaji, I am not understanding one thing. When Krishna went back to Vrindavan and went into Aprakat, Balaram was not there at that time. So, but in an Aprakat Vrindavan, obviously Balaram is always present. So, is it not like they go, means it merges back to Aprakat and suddenly Balaram is present?
So that means they will come later. Because even Krishna was not there. He mentioned that when this Aprakat Leela happened, then Krishna also disappeared from there, and they said, where has he gone? Where has he gone?
Okay, so there is some way that Leela will make sure that Balaram will come into, but that is much later after Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tamagatam abhipratya muniyo dirgha satrunah abhinandya yathanyayam pranamya utthaya charchen. So when Balaram came there, then all the sages who were called here as Dirgha Satrana, means who were engaged in performing a long yaga. So they received him with great honor and respect as per their situation. They bowed down to him and they worshipped him. So Chakram, Chakratirtham, Chakra means Chakratirtha, Yamuna Manu Lakshikritya, Yani Tirthani Tani Gatva. So all the places which are on the bank of Yamuna, different, and you go up and down. So he visited them all. Swarchitaha Saparivaraha, Krita Asana Parigraha, Romaharshanam Asinam, Maharshe Shishamakshataha. So when he was received like this, and he was given a nice seat, and along with his troop, his associates, he sat down, Krita Asana Parigraha. And then he saw that Romharsan Sut, who is disciple of sage Vyasa, he was sitting. So Romharsan is Vyasa's disciple, and he is the one who was taught Itihasa and Purana. Itihas Puranam cha pitame Romharshana. Sut Goswami explains this in the very beginning when he is describing, this in the 4th chapter, 1st canto. that how Vyasa he saw that Kali Yuga is coming and the intelligence of people will diminish. So he divided the Veda into 4 parts and gave to his 4 disciples. And there it is mentioned that he gave Itihas and Purana to Romharshana. So Romharshana was expert in reciting Puranas and Itihasas. And Romharshana is a Suta, which is not a Brahmana. They are supposed to be a Varna Sankara, born with Kshatriya father and Brahmani mother. So they are not considered, because Sut Goswami himself, Ugrasrava Sut. So this is Romharshana Sut. His son is Ugrasrava Sut, who is reciting Bhagavatam to the sages at Naimisaranya. That is the story now being told. So he was present at that time. The very word Romharshana, he has this name Romharshana because he will recite Puranas in such a wonderful manner that people's hair will stand on end. Like sometimes you hear people telling stories and you become very emotional. So that's why his name is called Romharshana. Not that he came from Rome, but he was Romharshana. So, but unfortunately he will be killed by Balaram. So pratyutthainam sutam akritam pravananjalim adhyasinam chatan viprans chukopa udviksha madhavaha. So when Balaram saw that Romharshana Sut, he did not get up from his seat, nor did he even join his palms out of respect, nothing, or bow down his head. He kept sitting on a high throne. So that says apratyutthainam, so not standing up, and akrita pravana anjalim, or joining the palms, and adhyasinam cha tan viprans chukopa udviksha madhava. So he saw that he kept on sitting. So then Balaram, he became very angry because he was sitting on a seat which was higher than even the Brahmanas. So he knew that he is not a Brahmana. So he wondered why this person who is not a Brahmana is sitting on a higher position and not giving any respect to me. So Udviksha, looks like that even to see him where Balaram was sitting, he has to look up. And that's what Udviksha means, looking up. So he must be sitting on a very high seat. Because they said that there are 88,000 sages, that's a lot of, even to get that much crowd these days for any speaker. And he has to speak that all people hear, and there is no mic in those days. So he must have to sit on a very high, like a 1 floor up, so that everyone can see him and also hear him. So that's why it says Udviksha, that he looked up. And he became angry seeing this. So Maharshi Vyasasya is disciple of Vyasa. Tan vipran adhi tebhyo viprebhya sakashadapi adhikam ucche asne asinam katkattvaditi bhava. So he was sitting on a high seat, higher than the Brahmanas, and that is because he was the reciter of the Puranas, Kathaka. That's why he was sitting. So in the olden days, people had very loud voice. You know this word krosha, the Vraj Parikrama is supposed to be 84 kroshas. In Hindi it is called kos. So the kos in Hindi it comes from the word krosha. Krosha means to shout. So this distance of 1 krosha was that if a person goes in a high place and shouts and he can be heard at a distance of 1, that is called 1 krosha. That is about 2 miles. So means person could shout and could be heard at 2 miles. Because in the olden days when they have to send a message, if the king has to make an announcement, so now announcement can come on TV and the message can come on WhatsApp. But in the olden days what they do is that every village, I've seen it even up to my childhood, they used to have a special type of people whose job was to make announcement. If any announcement has to be made in the village, then they were called. Barber was one of them. Sometimes barber will go in the village, stand at each corner. If there are like rows of the houses, he will stand each corner and shout and announce. I remember this. Somebody's house, there is some program and people are invited. He will say, so and so's house, today this program. Everybody is invited. But if you have to send a message from one village to another village, so then the person will climb a tree in the village. Every village had trees. And then he will have a drum. So he will beat the drum. So when the drum is beaten, the sound will go to the other village, then they understand that some message is coming. So the person from that village will climb the tree there and he will play the drum. Yes, I'm here. I'm here to listen. So then this guy will shout from here and give the message and he will hear. And when he has heard it, he will play the drum. He says, okay, I got the message. Then he will relay the message to the next village. So that's how it went. And people used to, like I have seen it in Haridwar, when there is this Mela type of things, and they used to do plays, like Mahabharata play, etc. There was no mic in those days. So these people who are on the stage is high, and they really speak loudly. Thousands of people are sitting and they can hear the actors on the stage. So therefore the word Udviksha is used here, Udviksha Madha. So, Kasmad aso iman vipran adhyaste pratilomajaha dharma palastatha eva sman vadham arhati durmati. So, he thought to himself that how is this that this person who is pratilomaja, means he is actually a Varnasankara, and Varnasankara are of 2 types, Anulomaja and Pratilomaja. So if the higher Varna marries the girl of a boy from higher Varna, marries a girl of the lower Varna, that is called Anulomaja, that is acceptable. But if the boy is of lower Varna and the girl is of higher Varna, that is called Pratilomaja, that is not considered as very great among the Varna Sankara also. So Suta is called here as Pratilomaja, means opposite mixture. So he says, how is that this person is sitting? So he did not know that he has been chosen to speak here. Says, and he is sitting even above me, who is protector of dharma. Means he is doing something adharmic and I am the protector of dharma. So he definitely is durmati, he is a wicked fellow and deserves to be killed. So that's what his thought is. So asmanapi adhyaste atikramya uccha asne aste upvishta eva natu uttishtati. He says he is sitting even above me. And not only that he is sitting, he doesn't stand up to give any respect. So therefore, he deserves to be killed. So all this is his thought. He did not speak it verbally, because if he would have spoken verbally, maybe they would have told him that no, there is nothing wrong. Even we have given him that position. He is teaching us the Puranas.
Babaji, in like you talked about Ugrashava, who is a Suta. I like typically weren't the people who were Sutas, they were also who were reciting these stories and of itihasas. They were respected. Whereas if from the Mahabharata side, there is an incident where Karna, who is also a Suta, but is for a different occupation, right? They are telling stories on one side, and they were the charioteers.
Suta also drive chariot.
Charioteer, right?
This
So
is
what was the difference in these two Varnashankars?
Just like Vaishyas, they do farming, Vaishyas do business, Vaishyas do cow protection.
Right.
So these are three different things, but they're all Vaishyas.
Right. But one of them is given that the other is kind of disregarded, like any.
Not disregarded, because he wanted to be Kshatriya.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not accepted as Kshatriya.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be equal to the princes, and Dronacharya said no. In that sense, not otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Because driver is not on the same platform as the princes.
Yeah. I think they were given equal training that is required for the combat, but not given the exceptional trainings, right? They were not given all the trainings, but the basic training which is required in the combat was yes.
Yeah, they have to know.
Okay.
ऋषिर्भगवतो भूत्वा शिष्योधृत्य बहूनि च से इतिहास पुराणानि धर्मशास्त्राणि सर्वशः. So he thought that one thing is that somebody is ignorant and then out of ignorance does something unacceptable. But this person is not ignorant. He has studied itihasas and Puranas from Maharshi Vedavyasa. So therefore it says Rishir Bhagavate Bhutva Shishyo, that he is disciple of such a great sage as Bhagavan Vedavyas, and he has studied so many scriptures from him, Itihas, Puran, Dharma Shastra, and he has studied all of them completely, Sarvashaha. And still, why is he acting in this manner? Agyatva eva astaiti chenna rishiriti. So if someone says, well, he is sitting there out of ignorance, so he says, no, he is not ignorant. Adantasya vinitasya vritha panditamaninaha na gunaya bhavanti sma natasya eva jitatmanaha. So he says that he is adanta, he is of uncontrolled senses, he is insolent, he is proud, egoistic, and in vain he thinks that he is a pandita, he is a scholar. Na gunaya bhavanti sma natasya eva jitatmana. Therefore his scholarship is not bringing him as good behavior, good character. It's just like in Nata, an actor on the stage. So somebody can play the role of a great person, but that does not mean that the actor actually has the characteristic of that person whom he is depicting. There are people who play the role of Rama, Krishna in the movies, but that does not mean that they have character like them. So he says, therefore he is just like a Nata. Why? Because it doesn't reflect in his character what he is teaching or what he is saying. It should also reflect. Education is not like the modern education, that which people have PhD and deal it, but they don't have the corresponding character. Education must bring a change in the heart. If it does not bring a change in the heart, then it is not education. Ultimately, ya vidya sa vimuktaye. So vidya is that which leads you to freedom from bondage of karma. Otherwise it is avidya only, in the name of education. But vidya dadati vinayam vinayati ati patratam patratat dhanamapnoti dhanat dharma tato sukham. So education, good education, if one has studied properly from teacher, then one must be humble. That is the characteristic of humble. Namanti falina vriksha, namanti gunana jana. So trees which have fruits, their branches bow down. Person who has good education also becomes humble. But if education is making one proud, then that education is not an education. So this is what Balram is thinking, that this person considers himself as a great learned scholar, but he doesn't betray the character of a learned wise person. This is what Krishna also told to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Sochyanan Sochastum Pragyavadanscha bhasase gatasuna gatasunscha nanu sochanti panditaha. That you speak like a pandita, like a wise man, but you behave like a fool, behave like an ignorant fellow. Because if you are wise, then how is that you are grieving for those about whom you should not grieve? Grieving and then being wise, these two things don't go together. So this is the discrepancy which Balram is seeing, and because it is his job to make sure that this kind of hypocrisy does not get propagated. So we see this so much common in Kali Yuga, that there are teachers or gurus or acharyas, but they do not have the requisite behavior characteristic, even if they are learned. There are some who are not even learned, but then there are others who know the Shastra, they are learned, but they don't betray the corresponding character. So this is not healthy for people, for the society, for the student. And that's actually this whole story about. Especially today is Guru Purnima day. So this is a very relevant story here. Otherwise this whole episode looks quite like unsettling when you hear that Balram, he just goes and he kills him. So this is very extreme. Suddenly he does that. So this says here that Adantasya Avinitasya Vritha Pandit Maninah Nagunaya Bhavanti Sma Natasya Vajitatmana. So he says that he is like a nata, he is an actor. So there are two types of actors. Just like there are two types of kavya. There is a drishya kavya and there is a sravya kavya. So there is a poetry which you watch on the stage, the play being done. Another is that you hear it from the kathaka, from the speaker. So he is also a nata like that. Just very good, and professional speakers are also very good. They are also Rom Harshanas. They can actually make you cry the way they talk and can make you very emotional. But then you see their behavior, it's not great. So that's why he says that this is natasya vajitatmana, ajitatmana, that they don't have control over their mind and their senses. And therefore he is not qualified to sit on this seat. That's the whole idea. Because when one person acts in a sinful manner, then the normal person, then he is harming himself, mostly. But somebody who is sitting on a big throne and teaching, he can harm thousands of people. So this is very dangerous. So that's what is being described here. Any comment on this? So Sri Vishwanath says, Na gunaya shastrani nopsamadhi phalaya. He says that their education is not for any guna, it's not for any great achievement. It does not do any good to themselves. Then how it is going to help others? So this two types of vakta. There are two types of speakers. Vakta nirago saragoscha dividha smrita. There is a niraga vakta and there is a saraga vakta. So there is a vakta who is saraga. He has raga. Not the raga of bhakti, but rag-dvesh type of raga. And then there is a nirag vakta. So he says that if you hear the saraga vakta, then that does not help the audience. It does not touch the heart. It does not bring change, transformation, purification. But if you hear nirag vakta, then his words, his statements, they bring change. Change means upliftment. It brings. So one should not hear from saraga vakta. Sri Vallabhacharya has actually written a book on that. It's called Jal Bheda. So in Jal Bheda he describes various types of speakers, because he is describing with whom you should associate and with whom you should not associate. Among even the spiritualist type of people, there are some who should be avoided. It's a very nice analysis he has done in this book, Jal Bheda. He gives example like water, different types. So this is the natasya iva jitatmana. So that's what Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments here, that na gunaya shastrani na upsamadhi phalaya, that this type of education does not bring upshama, does not bring peace to the mind of the person, which Shastra should bring you. Etadartho hi lokesmin अवतारो मया कृतः वध्या में धर्म ध्वजिन स्ते ही पातकिनोधिका. So he says, it is for this reason only that I have appeared here in this world. I have taken this avatara. What is that? That this type of dharma dhwaji. Such people are called dharma dhwaji. Means they have a big flag of dharma. They are protector of dharma. But their character is not appropriate. So he is calling him Dharma Dhwaji, which means hypocrite basically. That he is a hypocrite, therefore he should be killed. Why? Patakino adhika, he is more than a grievous sinner person, one who is very engaged in very grave sins. Is more dangerous than that, because that sinner is harming himself, but is harming many people. So nanu vipran adhyastam anyadva kimapi karotu nirabhimanasya krodhanasya parmeshwarasya tab ki manenetyaha etadarthamiti. So if someone raises a question to Balramji that although he is Suta, he is born Pratiloma, but these Brahmanas have made him sit on the high seat, and so what is the problem? And if he is doing something else, let him do. But you yourself are without any pride, so why are you getting angry? Because you are Parameshwara, you should not get angry. So then in response he says that no, I have taken avatar only for this reason. So don't teach me. don't give me lecture, because people give lecture to sadhus, why he is doing like this? So dharam dhvajina dharma rahitatvapi swasya dharmavatvam pradarshayanta. So what is the meaning of dharma dhvaji? That he is not having dharma, but he portrays himself as a great dharmic person. And that's why he needs to be killed. Etavaduktva bhagwan nivritto asadvadhadapi bhavitvattam kushagrena karasthena ahanat prabhu. So after saying like this, and saying here does not saying verbally, but saying to himself, then Bhagwan, Prabhu, the powerful Lord, although he has abstained from killing even the asuras, because when he went on Tirth Yatra, those people who go on Tirth Yatra, they don't kill. Especially in the olden time when people went on a pilgrimage, then they had to follow certain vrata, like they will not tell lies, they will not do ahimsa, satya, asteya, all these yama niyama, they will follow them. Because if you don't follow yama niyama, then going to holy dham doesn't bring you any good. It may even make your heart more hard. So therefore, he was also on a pilgrimage, and thus he was nivritta asadvadha. He was abstaining, even killing the asuras. So what to speak of killing Suta Goswami, who was a speaker of the Puranas? So how can he kill him? But he did that. He says bhavitvat. He says this was ordained to be like that. Bhavi. Bhavi means that which is bound to happen. So, yad bhavi na tada bhavi syat, bhavi na chet tadanyatha. What has to happen, has to happen. What doesn't have to happen, will not happen. So this was meant to happen like this. That is the meaning of bhavi. Bhavitvat. So then he killed him by the touch of a kusha grass. He only had a kusha, this pavani, which is made from kusha grass. It's a type of ring you put on your finger when you do auspicious activities. It's called pavani. So he just touched him with that and he died. So how is that he died with that? Karasthena. That's such as kusagrena karasthena, or maybe he was carrying kusha in his hand, because kusha is considered as very pure. Like fire is considered as pure, Ganga water is considered as pure, like that kusha is also pure. So he touched with that kusha and he died. Why? Because he is Prabhu. He is powerful. So bhavitvat tanmrityos tathaiva bhavitvat. So bhavitvat means that his death was ordained to be like that. Bhavitavyam kenapi parihartum shakyate. Now he bhavitavyam kenapi paritum shakyate iti bhava. The sense is that what is ordained, then no one can stop that. And that's why it happened so. Haheti vadina sarve muniha khinna manasaha uchuhu sankarshanam devam adharmaste krita prabhu. So when this happened, everybody shouted, alas, alas, what adharmic act he has done. So all the munis, all the sages, they became very khinna manasa, very frustrated, because they have chosen him to speak on the Puranas, and now he was gone, so he is going to speak now. So therefore this is khinna manasa, and they spoke to Balaramji, Uchu Sankarshanam Devam, Adharmaste Kritah Prabhu, that, O Lord, you have acted very adharmically. This was not expected from you. Why have you done like this? So they spoke in that sense. Asya brahmasanam dattam asmabhiryadunandana ayuschatma klamam tavad yavat satram samapyate. So they said that we have ourselves installed him on brahmasana, means on this vyasasana, on this high seat, we put him there, O Yadunandana. And we have also blessed him to have a long life without any fatigue or disease or tiredness. As long as the satra, our yajna, continues. Means he was supposed to be there for this whole period of yajna so that they could perform the yajna and hear his katha every day. Because yajna is not performed whole day. Maybe they were doing it morning time, evening time, and then other time they will sit and listen to the katha. So now you have spoiled everything. So Atma Klama, Atmano dehas se nasti klamo yasmin tadrisham ayuscha dattam. So we have given him blessing that he will not feel tired or exhausted, and we have also given him life like that. So that means now our blessings, they have been in vain, which is already killed. So they are not happy about that. Ajanata eva acharitas tvaya brahmavadho yatha yogeshwarasya bhavato namnayopi niyamakaha. Indeed, you have acted without having this knowledge. Means this knowledge that we are the one who had established him in this position, and now you have incurred the Brahmavadha, the sin of killing a Brahmana. And although it is true that you are Yogeshwara, you are the master of yoga, and even the Vedas cannot give an injunction to you. You are beyond all rules and regulations. We understand that. But still the act has been done. Ajanata eva janena yatha achariyate tatha sarvajnena api tvaya ityartha. So how can they say that he has done it without knowing? He says you are omniscient, but just as somebody performs a sinful act unknowingly, you have done it although you are omniscient. Kintu tvai na pap sambhavana ityahaya. But in your case there is no sin involved. You are not sinful in doing it. Why? Because you are beyond sin and piety. You are Yogeshwara. Yet from the social point of view, from the society, from the lokachar, this act will not be appreciated by people. That's what they mean. Yadi etat brahma hatyaya pavanam loka pavanaha charishyati bhavan loka sangronya chodita. So although you are Yogeshwara and you are free from any sin or piety, but still it would be nice to set an example for others if you consider that you have performed a Brahmahatya and therefore you perform some act of punishment, atonement. Then that way you are going to set a good example. And this is not that you should do it because it is injuncted by Shastra or we are saying it, because you are beyond all injunctions. So the sages, they recognized him that he is Bhagavan and he is beyond all yama and niyama. But still for people, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yaded acharti shrestha tattade vitrojana. So for people it is not a good example. Therefore they say that it will be nice that you perform some atonement. Although you are Lokapavanam, you are the purifier of everybody, but still if you do an act of purification, that will give an example to others that one should not do like this. Etasyaha brahma hatyaya pavanam prayashchittam bhavan yadi charishyati tadaiva loka sangro bhavishyati nanyatha. So if you perform some atonement, some act of purification for this act of killing of a Brahmana, then this will be a good example for others, not otherwise. Yataha sa ananya choditaha ananya pravartita, because you are not under the jurisdiction of Shastra. So therefore you have to do it on your own. So hearing this, Sri Balramji said, Sri Bhagavan uvacha, Karishye vada nirvesham loka nugraha kamyaya niyamaha prathame kalpe yavan satu vidhiyatam. So Bhagavan Balram, he did not argue with them or disrespect their words or refuse to follow what advice they gave. Rather, he spoke very humbly. He says, definitely, I will do any atonement as a blessing for people so that they are not misled by my behavior. And please tell me what is the best atonement. Prathama kalpa means I don't want that you give some second option or some third grade atonement. Whatever is the most severe you think should be done, I will do that. So I will certainly do that. So therefore it says prathame kalpe, because there can be various vikalpas, that you do this, you do that. So he says, give me the first one. Because you do the vikalpa, when the first one is not possible, then you say, okay, you can do this. If second is not possible, do the third one. Because some people may not have the capacity or samarthya, capability. So he says, tell me the first one. Dirghamayu bhataitasya sattvam indriyam evacha ashashitam yattad brute sadhe yogamaya. And he did not want to disregard the blessings of the Brahmanas also. Therefore he says that certainly Dirghamayu yuva bhataitasya sattvam indriyam evacha ashashitam. He says you have blessed him to have a long life and good senses. So he says, I will do that. I have power. I can bring him back to life by my yogamaya. He says, yattad brute sadhaya yogamaya. So I can make use of my power and bring back him to life so that your blessings on him do not go in vain. So niyamo brutam, niyamo vrata kalpe pakshe, satu saeva natu anukalpadi tirtha. So he says, tell me the atonement, whatever it may be, and not just some optional thing. Yogamaya achintya shaktya. Yogamaya here means inconceivable power. So by my inconceivable power, I can bring him back to life, if this is what you wish. Rishya Uchu, the sages says, Astrasya tav viryasya mrityor asmakam evacha Yatha bhaved vacha satyam tatha rama vidhiyatam. So the sages, they said very interesting thing. They said that please do that, O Balram, so that our blessings come true, and you have used your weapon to kill him, that also should not be falsified. Means he should not be brought back to life. At the same time, our words should also not go in vain. So find a solution to that. It's like when Aswathama was caught by Arjuna and he was brought to the camp. So Bhima was saying, kill him. And Draupadi was saying, don't kill. So Krishna said, no, please do act in such a way that both parties are satisfied. So that's what Arjuna did. He took away the gem from his head, which he was naturally born with. And he disrespected him. He kicked him out of the camp. So that he did not kill him physically, but disrespecting him was like death. So both things were done. So now Balram also does the same thing here. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Sri Bhagavan said, Atma vai putra utpanna iti vedanushasanam tasmadasya bhaved vakta ayur indriya sattvavan. So he says that according to Veda, it is said that the father takes birth in the form of a son. So Atma vai jayate putra. So therefore I will install his son on his post, and I will bless him to have long life and strength which you have blessed. So that way my astra, my weapon is not going in vain, means Romaharsan is gone, and your blessings will also continue. So I will bless his son that he will have the same knowledge his father had, and therefore you don't have to feel despaired that now you don't have anyone to hear from. So astrasya viryasya cha parakramasya tvadyaptena mrityasya vidhatra tvaya eva niyuktatvena asmakam vachasya tvadeyajanadina tavak sambandhitvena avasyam hi satyatapeksha iti he rama iti cha teneva sarva ramanata siddhiriti bhava vai prasiddha. So there he is just explaining that please do that our words do not become false and your weapon also does not go in vain. So find a solution that both of us are satisfied, and that's what Balram found a solution to the problem, that his son will come. So I'll stop here if there is any question to ask.
Babaji, two questions, Babaji. One first one is he's already said he belongs to the caste of Suta. So, but again, why it is said he got the Brahmahatya Pataka?
Yeah, because he was put on the position of a Brahmana as a teacher.
Then he will get the.
Yeah.
So, the second question is, I don't know why he has to perform the Prayaschitta, because he has already justified his act.
He has what?
Balarama had already justified his act of killing. But
yeah, that's why he said that it will set a good example for others.
But then it is not like Rama kills Ravana and then he has to do some Prayaschitta, because he has a valid reason for killing.
In case of it is not same as Ravana. Sut Goswami has not done anything. He has not kidnapped somebody's wife or something
but
like that.
But they both have a reason for their actions.
Yeah, but this reason is not so apparent. It is not so clear as in case of Ravana. In case of Ravana, it is very clear that the guy comes and kidnaps his wife.
Yeah.
So what do you expect? Rama should not get his wife back?
He has his own reason, like Balarama. Why I was thinking is like, if you do prayaschitta, then people will think that.
And anyway, the point is that even if he has his own reason, it was too much to kill him for that.
Yeah, that is what I was thinking.
Could have been chastised.
Yeah.
That is nonsense. Why are you just sitting there? But just to go and kill him without a warning.
Because people may understand if you do prayaschitta, then it is accepted that you have already done sin.
Yeah, but he also explained that you are beyond sin, but lok sangrartham.
Babaji, like you have mentioned that Prathame Kalpe you explained as at the first one. How is that related to the Kalpa, which is a unit for time, right? Like
No, that's a different meaning. Kalpa has various different meanings.
okay.
Kalpa here is in the sense of what you call option.
Okay. Then what would be Vikalpa? I thought Vikalpa meant option.
Yeah, kalpa here is only in the sense when you have vikalpa. Vikalpa is one of the kalpa. When you have vikalpa
Options
means you have two
one
kalpas.
Of the options. Okay.
When you have an option, you have two things.
Yeah.
So those are called kalpa.
Kalpa. Okay.
So primary kalpa is called kalpa and the second one is called anukalpa. Suppose the yajna says that you have to use madhu. So that is the kalpa. But madhu is not available. So then they say use jaggery water. That is called anukalpa.
Okay.
So like that there Ayurveda also some herb is said that this has to be used. Suppose that is not available, then they have anukalpa. So he says, I don't want anukalpa, I want kalpa. The primary praschitta.
And anukalpa and vikalpa would be synonymous, or?
Yeah, anukalpa is a vikalpa.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Baba. Thank you for the class. I'm sorry I came a little late. I was very eager to hear you. My question is, you were about pride of attained knowledge and using it for wrong reasons. So I would like to hear from you about that when one attains pride, knowledge, that one is not proud of.
When one attains knowledge?
When one attains some kind of knowledge, that one will not use it in any prideful mood, or when one is trying to represent it or trying to give it as it's been given to oneself.
So when one attains knowledge in an improper manner, that can lead to pride. Yes, just like Krishna says, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. So he gives three conditions that you question, but first pranipat. Pranipat means that fully surrendering. And then pariprasna, you ask questions and do seva. So when you do in this manner, then you will not become proud. But if you just take knowledge, like these days, you can hear anybody's lecture on internet and you don't need to do any seva, you don't need to say any thank you or anything, but you're getting knowledge. So this type of knowledge can make you proud. But when you have a living guru and you hear from the guru and you do seva and you become proud, then he will give you a kick on your head. If he is a real guru, then that's what he will do. So that's the proper way of getting knowledge. So pranipata is physical humility, falling flat. Pranipat means falling on the ground, what you call dandavat. And pariprasna, you lower your mental pride, that I am humbly asking a question, because question is also to be asked in a humble manner. And then seva. So seva makes you humble. Seva is not work. So seva has to be done to please the Savior to whom you are doing seva. And if you have to do it to please to him, then you have to give up your pride. Because he can say, no, I am not pleased. This is not the way to do it. So then you have to swallow your pride. So that is what is called proper way of acquiring knowledge.
Wasn't it considered as a deviation from the Kshatriya Dharma when Balarama decided to avoid participating in the Kurukshetra war? From the social point of view.
Well, he was not involved in it, that's why I said he was Madhyastha. It was not his war. It was not his dharma. The fight is between Kaurava and Pandavas. So it is their dharma, not his dharma. But the other people are inviting, so now he doesn't want to be part of it.
Today in one verse, Sri Balarama was called as Madhava. In one shloka today, Balarama was called Madhava. I thought that this name was reserved exclusively for Krishna.
So Madhava has two derivations, Maya, Dhava. Ma means Lakshmi, Maya means of Lakshmi, Dhava, husband of Lakshmi. Then it is primarily for Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu. And Madhava also means those who come in Madhu dynasty, like Yadava. So he is also Yadava, he is also called Yadunandana. So that is, any Yadava is Yadava, anyone who is coming in Yadu dynasty. Okay. From whom? I think that is an old hand. Prabhu, this is a new hand or old hand? Purushottam Prabhu.
I have a quick question. The Bindusara, this you mentioned, is it? I heard that that's in Orissa.
So what is the problem? He cannot go to Orissa?
No, I can go, but I was thinking, I thought since because it mentioned all the northern part of it, how could that be all the way to the southern part? That's what I was thinking.
There is also one Bindusara in Haryana.
Okay.
Okay.